Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having a phenomenal day and a wonderful weekend. Let's take a look here at Solana, see what's going on. We have to scroll all the way up here to see the current price action. It's pretty awesome. Congrats to those who were able to get into their spot bags as I recommended back in the 180s to 170s. Just a quick perspective here, I was able to get filled. Not on everything. My entry at 165 wasn't filled, but I got in at 175 and 185 here for good little chunk of change. Nothing too crazy. Just added to my spot bag there. Decent stuff there. But again, glad that worked out well for a lot of folks here. While we didn't actually take a swing trade, I was planning to actually consider one here today. It's honestly a little bit late. Not saying I won't consider one exactly after this analysis, but if you've watched me for some time, you'll know buying the top here isn't really something I like to do. We're going to look at specific areas of retracement so we can kind of estimate where this might go next, okay? So again, hypothetically, we're going to be taking a look at some pullbacks here, and of course, some back-end liquidation data too, just to kind of see where we're at. That heavy liquidation area, what was it? It was at, 225 to 226? That's obviously gone now. So a lot of folks got destroyed, I'm sure, trying to do that. And I'm fairly confident there's probably going to be some late shorts too. So we'll take a look at the 12-hour time frame and kind of see what Solana has to say here. But as you can see, there's that area of chunk of liquidation there. 1, 2, 3, about $4 billion in liquidation at 225. That is all said and done. 4-hour time frame, or sorry, the 7-day time frame doesn't tell us too much. Let's look at the smallest time frame here at 12 hours and kind of see. There are, of course, late shorts here, some pretty heavy shorts as well. So folks, when we see this kind of activity occurring, it's common for the price to want to retest those levels. So if you're trying to short this coin, I think it's a terrible idea. Again, keep in mind, these ones right here that are currently in profit, they failed all the way up. Okay, so you got to recognize people that short sell, not to say that there's anything necessarily wrong with it, but they're typically the gambling folks that like to take higher risk trades. You don't just FOMO into a short position at what you feel is the top. You want to let that top establish itself and kind of see where the price goes first. That's the more responsible thing to do. Again, I'm always going to recommend best practice here. I'm not going to tell you that you should jump in right now. I think it's a bad idea, but the truth is it could very well continue higher, right? There's no doubt about it. So again, it depends on how you trade it more so. It's not to say that longs or shorts are bad. It's how you do them and what you do with them too that makes the biggest difference, right? If you're just jumping into a short position to post online, you're currently open trade that's in 1000x% return. It's so stupid. It's ridiculous when people do that. So try not to be that person. Again, it's not what you do that defines you. It's why you do what it is that you defined, or that defines you the most, right? Why the why is the important thing. Okay. Anyways, enough philosophical garbage here. Let's talk about the charts here. Just really quick to touch on this. Open interest. People are heavy at 236. 220 and of course 205. So 220 was that launching point, and we can see here locally 247. Some people are FOMOing in, and of course 243. So this gives us perspective here that 236 to 247 roughly is maybe an area of support because of the fact that people are adding to their positions pretty heavy there on the way up, right? So those could be the new bottoms. So let's go ahead and take a look at the daily and work our way down. Keep in mind the daily time frame is going to be super bullish right now, folks, because the simple way to understand it here is that, well, the daily time frame is always going to reflect some bullish behavior when the price action does this kind of this kind of movement, right? Look at this volume. We see probably about 4 days worth of volume in one candle, and today's only half over. So this gives you some perspective that this coin is definitely on track here, ready to rock and roll. But as far as a bigger picture stuff here, let's do this here first. Let's look at our daily candlestick closures. Keep in mind, back from this was November 2021, 259. Let's just say 260 was that highest point. Recently, we couldn't close above it. 1, 2, 3, 4 attempts to break above it. Still couldn't quite do it. So 260 is roughly the resistance level for us, okay? We take a look here currently. We're still not above it either, right? We're at 253. So again, in order to confirm this uptrend, if the price were to continue to remain in price discovery and go higher, we need a closure above 260, okay? Again, closing below this wouldn't really do us too much good. Keep in mind, you could argue that this is like the beginning of a very ugly cup and handle, and I would even, agree with the fact that the simple fact that we've dipped and retested this high does imply that we might see some type of flag pattern play out here. So the price does kind of work itself into a descending type of channel. 230, 240 is retested. That may be a good consideration for long. Okay. Again, that's just kind of a rough estimate, of course, purely a crude sketch, but those are things that typically come to pass when you see this kind of behavior with retesting all-time highs, okay? Again, that's just kind of giving you some food for thought more so than anything. It doesn't mean it's exactly going to happen, but does imply that it's a distinct likelihood. But we can also see here too, just to kind of touch on this here, we got almost like a dozen attempts here to break this level here. So we're going to kind of pull that out. That's at 242 level. So I think the 240s should work as a support for us based on fib and local highs. Okay, so again, just some kind of thing to think about there. We take a look here, RSI, we're peaking up over 70, generally implying that we have this potential breakout on our hands. It's still too early to tell. If we close above 260, I think it'd be pretty indicative the price is going higher. Between now and then, if you're going to be adding to your position on the spot bag, like I did previously, that's a different story altogether, right? But don't get too heavy in a position right now because it doesn't make a ton of sense to FOMO into something that's at its tentative top. While price discovery is absolutely a real thing that we might see here soon, until we get there, we got to be cautious and careful because look at this. I mean, the entire altcoin market is down 5 to 10%, and Solana out of nowhere comes up and cranks up about 20% on the day, right? So that's that's an interesting thing. That's a little peculiar, right? Anyways, this amount of volume is pretty obnoxious here, and the truth is we're seeing a lot of selling pressure. As you can see, we got three white soldiers, if you've heard of that candlestick pattern, and then the fourth is typically going to be red. It's almost always the case in these kind of breakouts here. So basically just implying that we're probably going to see some range-bound activity between 245 and 260. If we do end up losing this 245 level, then our local high of roughly 220 may be a better estimate of where the price may pull back to. I'll post a playout chart that's updated in our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord here soon. But between now and then, just be careful FOMOing in at what feels like the top. I know it could continue higher, of course, and I was talking yesterday about hitting 300 with Solana, and we came pretty close as well. So totally not upset with it. I love this. I love how this coin's price action. But again, I'm not going to emotionally FOMO into a trade just because it's taking off. Again, you want to be careful doing that. It's not that you are doing it that's the problem. It's how you do it that's the problem. Some people will go put 50% of their position on a high leverage trade right now. Like that would be a bad idea, right? But adding to your spot bag as the price comes down is a different story. That's a good consideration. If you're going to take any leverage plays, I recommend low leverage, low position size. Even though everything here is fully confirming that we're probably more likely to go higher than lower, the likelihood of shenanigans coming up here soon is pretty high. I mean, we could already see a shenanigan candle right here, right? This aggressive little 12% pump in a 1 hour time frame. That's just crazy. So good stuff, mostly, right? Just treat it with respect. That's all I can say. Once again, I'll post our cloud chart here shortly. Thanks again so much for watching, being an amazing part of my life. If you want to become a better trader, again, I've got a trading academy, community, and signals group. I'll provide some updates too to our community members here shortly on our current open trades, because unfortunately a lot of the altcoins took a pretty big hit today, and we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. So I'll go ahead and get you all an update here soon. So nothing to really concern ourselves with. This is very standard behavior, specifically Bitcoin too. It's doing pretty well in its range. I think we're still in very good shape here for Bitcoin. So just heads up on that. All right, folks, hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll see you again soon. Take care. Thank you.